welcome ladies and gentlemen to another exciting edition of Transformers Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at Studio Series Galvo, wait a minute, sorry, Kingdom Galvatron. Yeah, whatever. Because guys, this thing is more Studio Series than it will ever be Kingdom. But before we get into it guys, I've been setting up the Instagram for this channel, which the link will be down below. So if you guys have an Instagram, please give us a follow. And I hate to be like every other YouTuber out there, but I am posting on that more regularly than I am videos. So if you guys want to see hints, like we actually had Galvatron a couple times, if you feel interested and want to do that, please feel free to. If not, I'm just glad you're here watching the video. So, getting on with Galvatron. In the 86 movie, he did cart around the Matrix on a chain, which, I mean, okay, that's interesting. If you want to have it on there, you can, because it does have a deal where it plugs in with the Matrix, but it's mostly hidden at that point, so why even bother? I had the 86 original Galvatron, and that is interesting, because up until now, I've been really just loving the Titans Return version. And when you start to compare it to the newer Galvatron, you can see they're on par with each other. Which is kind of sad, because that means that neither one of these Galvatrons perfectly nails the animation. They have taken some liberties with the design. These black things were on the animation model, but they've actually added these like missile ports on them, which I mean that's kind of a cool little update. The treads, as opposed to the Titans one, they're now picked out, and they have reinterpreted basically this back section here that serves as the support for the cannon. I'm not too crazy about it because, let's be honest, this looks like just a crumpled up robot mode. Now, it is true that probably they did sacrifice the cannon mode to make the robot mode look as good as it does. But there are some pieces I do love about it. You know, like the pieces you can pick out, like this back section, the round actually cannon bit, and the fact that the cannon is a little bit skinnier, which is, again, like the 86 toy. Because one thing that's always kind of been amusing about this, and maybe a bit campy, is just how big and how bright this is. Whereas again, this is more homaging that original toy, which, you know what, that's actually kind of cool, to be honest. One more thing, guys, that I'm not just going to be trashing this figure, because overall it's pretty good. One thing that I'm not too crazy about is down here on the arms, because as you can see, where his forearm folds up, it just kind of feels like that support for this tank tread just got chopped off. And then you know you've got the robot mode chest kind of right there, and it's got a big overhang. So I mean, like I said, I think they just probably sacrificed the cannon mode for the sake of the robot mode. You'll have to make your own opinion if you think it's better than anything we've got. But let's see how he looks with other versions of himself. So here is Galvo with his future and past selves. And just starting off with the Siege version, it is kind of interesting to see these guys side by side. Although now that Megatron has been kind of retconned as a tank, doesn't it kind of feel like a little bit of a downgrade that he goes from this to this? Although if you have Unicron as your personal battery, I guess it doesn't matter either way, does it guys? And now here he is with his actual future self, and it's kind of nice to see how these guys stack up to each other, because I mean it is the same dude. So anyway, Hasbro, you're making bank, aren't you guys? But let's actually move on to Galvatron's really awesome looking robot mode.
Behold, Galvatron.
So could we have started this off any other way? Obviously, he's always going to be compared to the latest iteration we have of him, and I have to say, guys, it is absolutely slaying the Titans Return version. Man, it is showing its age, shall we say. And seeing Galvatron here as the midpoint between these two Megatrons, it just feels a lot more legit. So one of the fun things that I noticed is it does seem a lot more like Megatron and Galvatron's faces look more similar. They're not exactly the same, but they look more like than Galvatron does with Super Megatron. Other than that, guys, I just like having him. I think he's going to be an excellent replacement for the Titans one. Okay guys, I know what I said in Cyclonus' review with the other Galvatron, but now we finally see this. Man, this all just looks really good, and I really like how this Galvatron looks. And he especially looks good whenever you start coupling him with the blast effects, you know, any that strike your fancy. Although I guess if we're gonna make this seem more accurate, sometimes he needs to have his cannon pointed towards his own dudes, don't he? But, I mean, just let's look at some of the details. I mean, that head, we got to look at it a little bit earlier, but that head, as opposed to what I initially saw, this just screams Season 3 Galvo. I mean, every detail on the robot mode. Like I said, I know I was really harsh with the cannon mode, but you know what? I think it all cancels it out when you finally get here in robot mode. Now, one of the things that Galvo does come with is this thing right here, which is essentially just two guns, and as you can see, it's actually modeled on the ship, the Revenge from Transformers the movie. See, that's why I say this guy is double S status. So, anyway, this does not really suit Galvatron's vibe in any way, shape, or form. Which is perfectly fine because, guys, trust me, he'll just let the bigger boys borrow it whenever they're wanting to be a little bit extra. So, good for you, Galvatron. And so Galvatron here is with his first initial nemesis, Hot Rod. You can definitely see that Galvatron certainly has him outmatched in size. And I think it is no wonder why he was thrashing and choking out Hot Rod. Now, guys, this is actually a little bit of a shock because I guess Rodimus is actually supposed to be about the same size as Optimus over here, but when you look at it, not only is Galvatron basically, I think he's taller, but he's also got a little bit more mass on Optimus. So, wow, that's actually pretty interesting, to be honest, guys. But, I mean, because when you look at him, yeah, that's actually quite surprising. But you know what, let's let Galvatron have this victory, because if you guys saw our Super Megatron review, Optimus in his eventual form just does tower over Super Megatron. So let Galvatron have this victory for now, because one day he'll be robbed of it. So guys, one more thing before we go. Again, like I said, I really want to start using the Instagram for this channel to give you guys my little previews of stuff coming up, or maybe other things that I get. So again, the description will be down below. It's Transformers_reviews01, I believe. So anyway, if you could give that a check out, I'd really appreciate it. So anyway, guys, that has been the review of Transformers Kingdom / Studio Series Galvatron. And until next time, guys, we'll see you in another review.
I will rip open Ultra Magnus and every other Autobot until the Matrix has been destroyed.